Hello there, and welcome back to Teach Me in 10. This is, of course, the video series that's brought to you by Technology Networks. In today's episode of Teach Me in 10, I'll be speaking to Chris Stump, who's the Director of Drug Discovery Informatics Solutions at Revvity Signals, and we'll be exploring drug discovery and CROs and going on a bit of a journey beyond spreadsheets and email. But before we go any further, I'm so excited to say that this episode is kindly brought to you by Revvity Signals software. And Revvity Signals offers one of the most comprehensive platforms of scientific software in the world. Their powerful informatics solutions are used across a spectrum of industries, including pharma and biotech, chemicals and materials, and food and flavor and fragrances. From their internationally recognized flagship ChemDraw to their Signals research platform and their exclusive Spotfire partnership that brings scientific data analytics to visual life. No scientific company offers a wider range and more powerful platform of scientific solutions than Revvity Signals software. So without further ado, I'm so excited for you to watch this Teach Me in 10 in full. Hi Chris, thanks so much for joining us here at Teach Me in 10. I'm very excited for this chat today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Lucy.
Wonderful. So, Revvity Signals recently launched Signal Synergy for streamlining CRO collaboration in drug discovery. I'm really interested in what inspired Revvity Signals to create this new product.
Well, thank you for the question, Lucy. So, certainly working with CROs is not a new development. The pharma biotech industry has been working with CROs going back to the 1940s to help with clinical trials. But what has changed in the last 15 or 20 years is a focus on discovery CROs and specifically new drug modalities. So, these pharma and biotech drug discovery organizations are trying to tap into that deep expertise offered by the CROs. This is in addition to the traditional operational cost efficiencies gained by working with CROs. I think another aspect of this is this greater focus on drug discovery CROs is a declining return on R&D investment in-house at the pharma and biotech organizations. So that's the context of why pharma and biotech are working more closely with drug discovery CROs. But what we learned by working with our customer advisory board for Signal Synergy is that there are significant collaboration challenges when biopharm sponsors work with the CRO partners. Largely, the industry has been trying to solve this challenge on their own. But what we saw was an opportunity to leverage our expertise in drug discovery and expertise building excellent scientific SaaS software to develop a solution that would help accelerate innovation in new drug modalities research.
Nice, fantastic. So, what would you say is one of the biggest kind of obstacles preventing a smoother collaboration
Yes.
between pharma and biotech with CROs?
hmm So one of the biggest challenges when biopharm sponsors work with CROs is the communication and collaboration challenge, because communication largely takes place in the form of email and document attachments, and specifically like spreadsheets.
Hmm.
So customers told us that there are three primary challenges with this email and spreadsheet kind of arrangement. So first is every CRO has their own format for the spreadsheet result reports. So this means that it takes custom code and data wrangling to get the data back into a suitable form for analytics.
Hmm.
And then second, sponsors often have to send back up to 25% of those spreadsheet results back to the CRO because there was some kind of error in the data entry. And then third is sponsors lose track of the status of their projects. So project management is a challenge when they're using email.
Hmm. Absolutely. And are there other kind of collaboration challenges beyond those experienced with spreadsheets and emails, for example?
Yeah. So in total, there's about five challenges. So based on our discussions with our customer advisory board, there are five primary challenges. For first, there's the challenge with prioritizing and communicating work, which is a combination of that project management email that I mentioned previously. Second, there is a challenge of onboarding and offboarding of CRO resources with a sponsor within the sponsor's IT ecosystem. So one customer told us that there's a lot of personnel turnover at CROs, so that administrating these collaborations is a huge burden. Um, Third, there's the challenge of tracking and the stage of the outsourced projects. So that is that did the CRO, for example, did they receive everything to start the work? Is the project stalled for some reason? Has the CRO completed the work? So they kind of lose visibility. Um, and then fourth is preserving the sponsor's intellectual property without limiting the relevant information that the CRO needs to do the work that's being requested. And then finally, the fifth challenge is standardizing and integrating external data for comprehensive downstream analytics, which I previously mentioned. So those are the five primary challenges.
Nice. So then what is kind of Revity Signals doing to address these challenges so that pharma and biotech sponsors can better drive innovation whilst they're working with their CRO partners?
Yes, that's so. So what we've done is we've focused on those five primary challenges, and we developed five key capabilities to address those directly. The first capability centers on administration to simplify that CRO project initiation and user onboarding and setup and all that. Uh, and this is about bringing the CRO into the sponsor's Signal Synergy SaaS tenant. Another aspect is giving both the sponsor and the CRO an administrative environment to handle their part of that relationship. For example, empowering the CRO to manage their own user accounts. And then second is a drug design ideation workspace that enables the designing and capturing the drug ideas without having to register the compound in the compound registry. And then so once that concept is ready for sharing with the CRO, so maybe they need to make a molecule or something, single synergy users can use a work order for a secure sharing of that information with the CRO. This eliminates that email and attachments thing I mentioned earlier, and it's completely internal to Signal Synergy, so that the sponsor and the CRO both have their own views of the requested work. And the work order can be used for not just sharing molecule ideas, but also other requests such as screening assays or assay development. And then third, the Signal Synergy has built-in masking of proprietary codes, properties, and material IDs for IP protection. And then the fourth capability we've developed is scientifically minded project management that goes well beyond the general project management tools that listeners may be familiar with within a business context. The project management capabilities that we built understands chemistry and biology. So, one thing that it provides is like Kanban boards for visually project tracking, with molecules kind of shown on the screen. And then finally, the fifth capability is it streamlines data exchange so that the data is automatically transformed from unstructured CRO reports into structured reports that are ready for analytics. So these are the five, key capabilities that are designed to give the sponsors more insight into their
Mhm.
science while requiring less project management oversight. And we like to say more insight with less oversight.
Incredible. So, how would a researcher at a biopharma sponsor make use of the CRO collaboration capabilities
Mhm.
in Signal Synergy?
So I think this is actually quite easy. The easy
Mhm.
part is so Signal Synergy adds fit for purpose CRO capabilities to their cloud native Signals Notebook or
Mhm.
Signals Research Suite. And since Signals Notebook and Signals Research Suite are cloud based, the biopharm sponsor simply provides a URL to the CRO, and then the CRO joins a secure area of the sponsor's Signals SaaS tenant, and the goal of the Signal Synergy then is to enable the biofarm sponsor to tap into that deep drug modalities expertise at the CRO, and then allowing them to accelerate the process of going from idea to IND.
Nice. So, what makes Signal Synergy stand out from other solutions in the market?
So I think the key thing that's unique about it is that it addresses those five primary challenges that I talked about earlier. And so it enables that communication and collaboration between the sponsor and the CRO. And so previous solutions may have addressed, one or two of those challenges, but not all five. So a common area that was previously addressed by other solutions, for example, LIMS solutions and chromatography data systems, which were a bit downstream of where we're focused in drug discovery. Um, they offer kind of a point solutions for facilitating data exchange, and that's just one of those five capabilities. And so I
Mhm.
think Signal Synergy is unique in it that it addresses all five of these key capabilities for helping facilitate drug discovery.
This is incredibly valuable. So,
Yeah.
for listeners interested in learning more about signal synergy,
Mhm.
where can they find more information?
Yeah, so if listeners would like to learn more about Signal Synergy, I invite them to visit Signal Synergy product page at revitysignals.com, and I want to thank them for listening as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. This was
Thank you, Lucy.
incredibly insightful. So, thanks for joining us for Teach Me in 10. Thanks so much for watching this Teach Me in 10, and I hope I'll see you again very soon.